don't do it now, forget it. About time to start anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's here? How you, Jim?
I'm cold. Just like everybody else.
It's taking a little while to get used to.
Although thanks to LL Bean and whoever made this thing.
So I believe I could have took him out. So I believe I could have took him out.
I want to see that.
It's on.
Present.
Russell Reed. Russell's had heart surgery, if y'all don't know.
And I visited Russell this afternoon, and he was up and able to go around, but he's just not up to coming to this meeting tonight. But he is. They did do the surgery with the small incisions. We're able to do it that way. So he's recuperating.
Todd Oliver,
Here.
Jimmy Mingle,
Here.
Jim Bush,
Here.
Kevin George,
Here.
Ben Higgins,
Here.
Tony Neal,
Here.
Jim Jones,
Here.
Chuck Holt.
Here.
9:30.
All right. If you look in your packet, you have the minutes of our last meeting. Has everyone reviewed them? If you have, I'd entertain a motion that we approve them.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All right, got a second, a motion. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, continuing on down to number 5, reports of county officials. I have one report to make. Last week, the sheriff and the jail administrator, Ed Brown, and Mike Gannon, county executive, and myself, all 4 went to Nashville, and we appeared before the Tennessee Corrections Institute. And we didn't have to stay too long because the alphabetical order, Cannon is pretty close to the top. Isn't that right, Darrell? But Darrell spoke to them. They had already had an inspection, and we were down there for our, it was an annual thing, right? It's got us in pretty good shape. And Mike also spoke to the Corrections Commission, and they had inspected the jail, and we do have an overcrowding problem, and they want us to continue to be aware of that and address it as we can, and we can talk about that at another meeting. But that is one report that I'd like to make. And do you have anything to add to it, Darrell? We're all right for another year, right?
We're still certified.
But and they certify us. And there were other counties there doing the same thing we were, and some of them were in a lot worse shape than we are. But we don't need to wait on something like perpetual overcrowding. You can't wait till you're decertified before you start thinking about it. Mike, do you have anything to add to that meeting in Nashville? Mike and Darrell did the talking, and Ed and I were there just as support.
Nothing other than say the state board was very receptive and agreed to work with us.
That's right.
They are wanting to set a meeting with all commissioners, DAs, judges, and probation in January.
In January, they want to have a meeting with all of us, plus those that Darrell talked about, sometime in January. February might be early enough to, but we need to, we'll be talking about that and setting it up. Is this a good time for each of you? 5 p.m. on some night. Is any night of the week that is a Thursday night all right in January, or is Tuesday and Thursdays, can we work that?
Second Thursday won't work for me at all. First
Okay.
Thursday won't work for Chuck.
I'll try to stay on Tuesdays, but I don't know if I can or not. Again, depends on the state people. Okay. Any other county officials need to have a report? All right. Number 6, due to the untimely death of Bob Stetzel, he was our chairman pro tem, and we need to appoint another, elect another. I'll open the floor now for nominations for Chairman Pro Tem.
I'll nominate Jim Bush.
All right, Jim Bush has been nominated. Do I hear another nomination?
Second.
Do I hear a motion for the nomination to seat?
I'll nominate Todd.
You nominate Todd. All right, any other nominations?
Second on Tom.
We don't need a second from a motion, no. For a nomination, I mean. Okay, Jim, does anybody want to nominate, make a motion that the nomination cease?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I hear a second for that.
Second.
All right, the nominations have ceased. We have two that are nominated, Todd Hollingsworth and Jim Bush. Bobby, call the roll.
Okay, I'll call the roll, you tell me who you on vote for. Mark Barker,
I vote for Jim Bush.
Russell, he's out. Todd Hollingsworth,
I'll have to vote for myself.
Jimmy Mingers.
Todd Hollingworth.
Todd, you vote for Todd?
Jim Bush, I guess.
I'll have to vote for himself.
Kevin George,
Jim Bush.
Ned Higgins,
Jim Bush.
Tony Neal,
Todd.
Jim Jones,
Jim Bush.
Chuck Hope,
Jim Bush.
Jim Bush, he got 6 votes.
All right.
I've got 1, 2, 3.
Jim is our Chairman Pro Tem. If for some reason I couldn't be here or even had to leave early, Jim would be the one that would attend to the meeting. All right, next on our agenda, number 7, is the Sheriff's Department budget amendment. You had it in your packet. And it's explained on it. Refund, check from the purchase of 2 pair of uniform pants, check from Pelham's for disposition of vehicle. Y'all can read as good as I can. That was the front page. The drug fund is on the second page. Do we want to consider them separately, or we just want to pass both of them?
Just pass them both together.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Todd Hollingsworth made it. Jim seconded to accept the budget amendments from the Sheriff's Department. Call the roll.
Mark Barker,
Yes?
Russell, Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingers,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Ned Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Jim Jones,
Yes.
Chuck Hope,
Yes.
all five.
Okay. Next on our agenda, number 8. As you remember, we received the grant and the go-ahead to move the ambulance service from its present location in the old Good Samaritan Hospital building. And we've got plans to build a new ambulance center over here close to the jail and close to the hospital. And in between them, sort of. And we've got to have some land to put that on. And I'm going to turn it over to the county executive because he's been in on these negotiations with that. And he can.
Well, first I want to show you the initial plans for it. There could be some tweaks to the floor plan a little, but this is pretty much the way it's going to be. Here's a drawing of the outside, you can see it. And I won't take but a minute at a time, but what this will do, it will free up where they're at now. I can move UCHRA down there, and that gets them ADA accessible. We can use where UCHRA is now, which isn't ADA accessible. And we can use that for storage, which I know Lynn Foster's office we've got to do something for her soon. They're just piled to the roof, and so what I had in mind is using that upper part of that for courthouse storage, dividing the rooms up and depending on how big area they need. Now, this, what should carry us, this is just a guess on my part, but this is a 6-bay ambulance center. So we could, now we have 3 ambulances, right, Ricky? And of course, a couple other vehicles, but in the future, this building will accommodate up to 6 ambulances. So we can actually double the size of our ambulance center. So I don't see that happening in the next 10 years. So this should suffice for many years to come. And it's a great building. The layout's a great building. The hospital has offered to sell us 1 acre for now. And if you turn down Alexander Drive like you're going to the jail, the cemetery that's right there on Doolittle Road and Alexander Drive, it'll be the acre right behind that cemetery. And it's out of the floodplain. Everything's going well. Of course, we've got to do an environmental. I've got a guy over there now, Mr. Roberts, that's doing the surveying. And there's federal money in this project, so I can't tell you a price. That has to be officially established after we do the survey, and we have to run an ad in the paper, and then we have to have an appraiser look at it. But I will tell you this, I asked Mike Corley what I could tell you without jeopardizing the project. It'll be a fair market price. So if you want to know what a fair market price is, you well, I just can't say, but the county's got it appraised, and I'm sure it's less than what the actual appraisal is, so it'll be a fair market price. And 1 acre is all we need. If we get over 1 acre, we run into more. If we disturb, we could own 5 acres, but if we disturb more than 1 acre, then it brings in a lot of extra federal rules as far as the environment. So we don't want to disturb our own over 1 acre, because now I will say this, I need to go ahead and move on this and get this done. But I will say that the hospital has shown a willingness to possibly, now they hadn't obligated themselves, but they've shown a willingness to possibly sell more than 1 acre. I don't need the acre for this project. I may come back to you later and say after this acre's purchased, say they're actually willing to sell us 2 more acres, 1 more acre, 5 more acres, or 4. I think 4 would be the limit. It's something you might want to look at in the future. And they said once we get this completed, they would talk to me about more of that area. And you know the location. Location's everything in real estate. You know, with this location, it's very, very valuable property, especially to the county. So all I'm asking you tonight, I want you to look these over, and if you got any suggestions, please give them to me. I gave this to Chuck the other day, and he's been looking it over, and Ricky and his staff has gone over it pretty good. And actually, we've made some changes to the original drawings. Ricky and them recommended some changes, so this is the revised copy. So more than likely, this will be what will be built.
There is one issue over there.
What's
right?
that?
Alexander Doolittle Road may not be the worst intersection in town, but I promise you it's high on the list. And you got ambulances coming out there running 33 traffic. You cannot see back to your right.
That's something we'll probably have to deal with. I'll agree with you. It's not a good intersection, but it's actually the best place in the county for it because it's right there at the hospital. It'd just be right next to the emergency room.
I'll go over there time to time. By the time I get out there where I can see what's back on my right side of my car, I might as well keep going.
But and we will have to address that issue. I don't know exactly how.
If it'll hold 6 ambulances, right? The bay will. If you get 6 ambulances, and you hire enough people to man those 6 ambulances, will it house enough people to, like if we got big enough that we were running 6 all the time, like y'all running 3, will it house enough people to handle that many people?
Well,
You know what I'm getting at?
I do.
If you double up these bunk rooms, it will.
It would make it crowded, but
Yeah.
yes. The answer is yes, but that's
I mean,
not
we're doing this because we're crowded now, and
Yeah.
you know, it's nice to have 6 have bays for 6 ambulances, but if we only got room for 4 ambulances worth of people, and we're gonna have to add on again or something for that, is that, if you're gonna do it, let's make sure we do it.
I think if you put double beds in these, that you could.
Be enough?
Yeah, it would be enough.
And it's got everything segregated, women in one restroom, one.
Right.
Right now, we've got everybody. kind of
Did I miss out on did I miss the grant? Have we seen the
I
grant?
think you did.
Did
Did
He
we,
was absent at the meeting that we talked about the grant.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
approved.
okay.
did we see it, or we just approved it?
But also now, wasn't the hospital gonna donate the money?
That was the premise.
We were hoping.
Did we see it, or did we just approve it?
What do you mean? I've
Yeah,
got
we
the
got-
contract down in my office. Y'all
What grant?
approved me to apply for the grant. Now, did you see the grant? I don't guess you did, but I've got the contract here. Well, I'll give you a copy of it.
That's, I want to make sure that before we say go buy land, that, I mean, we got it. We got the money to
Oh,
build
we
the
got the
building.
money. It's
We got
done,
it.
it's
How
done
much is
signed.
our-
How much was the grant for?
300,000.
Is it a matching grant?
We pay all over 300,000.
Are we going to have enough in the 300,000 to buy the acre of land?
You can't buy it out of the grant money.
Excuse me?
But you've got, you can't buy the land out of the grant money, you can do all the rest. Now, the only problem, of course, you got plenty of money in a debt service to buy it, and it's gonna be less than 10,000, I can say
How much
that.
how much is this thing going to cost?
Now, of course, 565 is what is estimated. 565, but, I mean, it'll probably come in less than that.
If you go down and check, then the courthouse, you'll find that 1 acre of ground is going to be appraised at, I think, $8,500.
If it's not appraised at 265,000, you're going in the hole right here. It's going to come out of our pocket. I'm saying if the land ain't worth a whole lot more than $8,800.
What I'm understanding Mike say
We're coming
though
out
is the
pretty
land
deep
can't
right
be
here.
paid for out of the grant money.
No.
Listen to this right here. What was the question?
He asked, could the land be paid for out of grant money?
No,
It can't be.
It's irrelevant if the building's going to go 265,000 over the grant.
Is this block or brick exterior?
It's the decorative block.
Oh, Lord, no, 500,000 would go near that.
What do you mean?
Well, you've got, it's 105 foot, and you're gonna block it, how tall is it gonna be?
I don't know.
I mean, you're looking at roughly,
Our engineer estimated 565. And every bid we've let the last 3 or 4 years, now they're getting tighter now, but every bid we've let has come in a little under what the engineer reckoned. Now, this one may come in 100,000 over. I can't promise you that.
Those
but,
are just split face brick, aren't they?
whatever they are.
They're texture block.
And he colored
They're
them
not
in.
much higher than, you
To
know.
give it some style, he said he would probably put,
We've got a building over at church out of those.
yeah, but the building you're looking at is 105 foot long and, what is it?
Is this
60 foot wide?
this one was, we took a fire department / ambulance center plans that he had drawn in Fentress County. And we started with that, but this is totally different even from that. We kind of got our ideas there and we worked, and then, no, it just has nothing, I've never seen the one in Shell before. Plus our engineer didn't do it, so no, it's not got anything to do with it.
So what we do, where do we get the 265? We're going to borrow that at debt service, or we're going to write a check?
You can't write a check. I mean, if you get it out of debt service, you'll have to borrow it and then pay it back over. You can pay it back in a year, you
Out
can
of
pay
debt
it back in 10 years. Yeah, 20 years, whatever you decide to do. This is a building that will last probably 50 years before you'll have to do anything to it, so.
Can't we borrow the money and pay for it out of debt service?
We can, yes. And the number.
On a 30-year loan?
You got, you can do 30, 20, whatever, that's up to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it any amount.
Don't we have a debt policy on long-term debt?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll go with the debt policy, whatever it says.
Before you can issue the debt. But see, if you don't go through the steps of the debt policy before we approve the government.
The land,
we can't go get the loan.
We can't count, that's the point I'm trying to make. We can't count the land as part of this project. We gotta buy the land to put the project on. 565 is the project. And it's federally funded up to 300,000. Now, if it comes in at 500,000, our part will only be 200. If it comes in at 565, our part will be 265. But that is the ideal place, according to our architect, not architect, but engineer, and the hospital, they'll lease you the land. No. If you want to lease it. $1 a year for 50 years, but I'd much rather pay what they're gonna charge us for an acre of ground than have a lease.
Well, 25-year note, it eats up our nickel increase.
Exactly. You're gonna be looking at a tax increase.
It ain't got, no, this is come out of debt service.
Right,
This ain't got a thing to do with
But
tax.
you gotta fund that service.
Right.
Yeah, whatever you're bringing out.
But you got 2.7 million in there last year.
And every time we talk about defunding it by 2 cents over here, 2 cents over there, the first thing we hear is what? We can't be defunding that. We can't be taking money out of it because we got to have that money out here at the end of our school note.
Well, you've bought fire engines, you've bought
That's right.
police cars, and you've done all that. I would think
$265,000
is only about half what you've spent in those other areas. So I would think this is a no-brainer. Plus, this will be drawn out. You can draw it out as long as you want. If you draw it out over 30 years, it won't affect. I wouldn't do that, but whatever.
I'm not at all interested in putting it on.
Well,
the guy 30 years down the road.
But this has already been approved. There's nothing we can do. This is done. We've already got the money on the way. I'm talking about an acre of ground tonight. I just brought this to show you.
So we've already approved the $265,000.
Yeah. We approved him to apply for the grant.
We've already approved the note for the $265,000.
No, we haven't approved the note, but we've approved the amount. We've already had a whole.
Up to 265. Not to exceed.
Last meeting?
No, you were here.
Was it? Let's go back.
The grant's done been approved, the contracts are signed. We're waiting now to get the environmental and all that. The building is not the issue tonight. The issue is I need to move on this land before, so what do you
want us to approve on the land? You just want us to say?
Just tell me to buy it.
Give him authority to buy 1 acre.
How can we do that and not know what he's gonna pay for it?
Yeah, well, I gotta have a survey for it. I told you a fair market value. You can look in the property assessor's
It's
office.
appraised downstairs
no.
for 8,500 acres.
I can't say.
Hear what it's been appraised for.
I mean, I can't,
It'll be less.
I can't sign nothing that ain't got nothing.
There's 9 of us here. Everybody can vote the way they want to.
I'm not asking you to sign anything. I'll do the signing. My point is, I've got to buy the land to put this on.
When we started this, we were gonna get the land give to us.
That was an option. Then they said, and the local officials wanted to give it to us, but the stockholders in Nashville didn't. But they did offer us a lease for $1 a year.
Maybe my memory's bad, but I remember approving us for apply for the grant, but I don't remember us applying to go through this.
Exactly.
I don't.
When you approve the grant, you approve.
I remember approving to apply for it. I know
We approved to apply for it, but it didn't say anything that we'd go through with it.
Well, it's a done deal. The ambulance center is now. I
don't think it's a done deal.
Well, I think it is.
If we don't fund it,
You've already voted to fund it.
I think
You did.
the problem that we've got, we don't know what the price is on the land.
I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to.
The price on the land is $8,500 an acre. And that's what they have it appraised for downstairs.
But is that what they're willing to sell it for?
That's exactly what he just got through saying. They said a fair market value. In other words, fair market value is what it's gonna be appraised for. And when they bring someone in here to look at the property and everything like that, they're gonna come up here and they're gonna see what the appraisal value is gonna be. And they're gonna come to the courthouse and they're gonna find out it's gonna be $8,500 an acre. And we're asking to buy 1 acre of ground. So what we're looking at right now, it's gonna cost us $8,500 to buy 1 acre of ground to get the ambulance, new ambulance center started.
so are you making a motion to approve $8,500?
He can't make a motion to approve an amount, all he can do is make a motion to purchase the land.
Because they hadn't got the survey done yet, all those things are gonna be done. What we need to do is just authorize Mike to buy an acre of land to put the ambulance service on.
That's not to exceed $8,500, not to exceed $8,500.
It may,
Is that the way are you making a motion to approve him to
Not
spend
to-
up
yeah.
to $8,500?
Not to go over $8,500. Yes, I would. I would like.
Do I hear a second for that? Chuck Holt made a motion that we authorize the county executive to buy an acre up to $8,500. We ought to authorize him to buy 4 acres up to that. That's what we ought to do.
We can't.
We're just gonna.
1 acre tonight, and I'll come back.
That's just a Mark opinion on the side. Because Darrell and I was down there talking to the jail people, and look what the location is. It's right there next to the jail.
But now, after we buy this 1 acre, if we approve to buy the 1 acre tonight for $8,500, they said that down the road, they may be able to sell us 1, 2, 3, maybe even up to 4 more acres. And if they do, but then that's gonna be a plus to our favor, where we need to get in there and buy it.
Let's get back to this.
But right now, you wouldn't want to do that, because if you was to tell them that you're going to increase the size of the jail and run out on their property and everything like that, that'd be totally against us.
Here's the issue at hand. We got a motion on the floor.
I think.
All right, Jimmy Mangle seconded it. Call the roll. Everybody, wait a minute. Everybody understand what the motion is? It's to authorize county executive to buy an acre of land for this project that we got the grant, $300,000 grant for, to put it on for up to $8,500.
Chief,
Go ahead.
Mark Mark,
Yes?
Todd Oliver,
Yes.
Jimmy Nate,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
no.
Kevin George.
Nope.
Clint Higgins,
No.
Tony Hill,
Yes.
Jim Jones,
Yes.
Chuck Holt,
Yes.
3, 6, motion carries, 3, 6, 4.
Okay. Number 9. At our last meeting, we had the TDOT people here, and you've had a month to look at those things. And he talked about what was the acronym that he used? Do you remember, Tony?
No.
Regional planning.
Yeah, I did.
Regional planning. All right, the mayor of Woodbury and the county executive and who else? Jackie Francis was on it, but we, okay, yeah, Alan Pascal, who's the city manager, is that what his title is? They're on this regional planning authority. We need, and you heard the guy from the state say that it needs to go to them. We need to give them a recommendation on what we think about the routes that he talked about the other day. Are we ready to do that?
What are our choices?
Well, I hadn't heard anybody discuss it yet. I thought we were gonna have a meeting to discuss what.
Well, the regional planning, that's what this is. We've been thinking about it for a month now.
It's called RPO.
Yeah.
It's regional planning or something, I don't know.
And
But
it
anyway,
involves you elected officials from Woodbury
I've
and
been meeting with them for years, and Harold and I are automatically on it, and then Jackie Francis served on it, was very active for a long time. It's due to his wife's illness, he had to give it up, so Alan Pascal's on it now. But what they do, they meet 14 counties in the Upper Cumberland, comprise the RPO, and they meet and prioritize projects. There may be 25 projects in the 14 counties, and they vote to prioritize. And I know McMinnville was pushing the 4-lane, about to be open, and of course we all voted for that, and it was in the top 3 priorities. Now TDOT is not going to spend $30 million and let people tell them where to put it. This is my opinion, when they're not putting any money in it. But what they try to do, they try to put it in prioritize the projects in this whole region, and then they do want your input or the county's input. Now, I'll be happy, and Harold and Alan will be happy, whatever this
Whatever date
commission
that says on it.
votes
November
do.
12th.
Okay, that's when we vote on it.
My understanding, there's a northern route, a southern route, and no route at all. And one option I wasn't aware of till the other night, the guy said you could actually go for a 2-lane or a 4-lane. It doesn't matter to me, whatever. When I go back to my next RPO meeting, I'm gonna vote the route that this commission recommends.
Since the last meeting, I've had citizens from east side talk to me about, hey, y'all need to go ahead and recommend a loop or a route of some sort, because here they've come across us, take our land, and, it needs to be finished now. And I'm sure the citizens to the west, that it's been 20 years on them. They'd like to, it's not gonna hurt Woodbury, I don't think, to have another a road.
I think, Mark, my opinion is that we were to get together with, I've got some notes there so I wouldn't forget it. I think we ought to talk to the planning committee and see what they've got in their mind, and the IDB board also wouldn't be a bad idea, and the Joint Economic Development Board wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay? If that's what y'all think, we can go along with that. But they've had, all those people on those boards have had a month to talk to us about it. And we had it in the paper that we were going to, our agenda tonight said that we're gonna make a recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I've been speaking with a lot of people, a lot of the citizens in the county and around Woodbury, inside Woodbury and everything. And everyone seems to think that once we do a bypass around Woodbury, it's like any place else that has had a bypass built around it. It's going to end up killing the town of Woodbury, and we, the citizens of Woodbury, me being part of them, we worked hard to build Woodbury what it is today. I've been asked, would there be any way to bring a road through the backside, make it one-way traffic, and have the road, existing road that we have now, being the opposite direction traffic. Because once we get in here and we kill the city of Woodbury and we do not get any of the inbound traffic or whatever, it will cause property taxes to go up, because we don't get a lot of revenue from going and coming, but we do get some. And I personally think by doing a far out bypass, either north or south, keeping people out of town, it's not good. I've looked at other places. I've looked at Sparta, a real good example. I've looked at McMinnville. Any place that you want to go look at that's going to have a bypass away from it, it's just not there. It's just not feasible.
Don't new businesses grow up on that bypass though, every single place?
Mr. Chairman, as right now, Woodbury, the people in Woodbury are struggling with the older buildings that they have. They're trying to do what they can do. They can't afford right now, like a lot of the other people, cannot afford to get out here and build new structures up and down new roads and everything, because they're doing good to keep their head above water right now. And like I said, we don't get a whole lot of revenue, and what is it going to do? When we build a bypass around Woodbury, it's not for the citizens of Woodbury. It's going to be more like for the citizens of Warren County, so they can buzz on around Woodbury and not be slowed down. What's 5 or 10 minutes? It's not very much. We may not get a whole lot, but we're going to get a little bit. And I was put in as a commissioner for the 5th district, and I've been out doing some leg work, and I know how the people feel. And what I'm doing, I'm trying tonight to voice their feelings to the rest of the board.
That's what you should do. Do they feel like then a one-way street on Water Street going west and a one-way street on Main Street going east would be better than going outside of the square?
Yes, sir, they do. Yes, sir. Because
every road 4-lane that you get on in this state, you get out and ride around, And when you'll run a 4-lane for 20 or 30 miles, and then you get on your brakes and go through a town that's got red lights, and it slows you down for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you'll pop out on the other side and hit another 4-lane and go. I don't understand what the problem is from just pull everybody right back into town, let them go slow for a mile and a half right here, and then they crank right back up and go like they want to go. Why does it have to be 2 lanes on this side and 2 lanes on this side? Why can't they just come right back together and go through Woodbury? And
he said that. That guy that was here.
that's,
He said that.
and
I'm just giving the 2 one-ways as an option.
it doesn't. This won't affect the citizens of District 3 a penny, except for maybe tax dollars if we start losing revenue. Or it may affect tax dollars if we start gaining revenue. I don't know how that'll work, but it affects his people, the people here. And everyone that I got hit up at 3 or 4 different people at the ball game the other night, and they were all from here, and every one of them, first thing they said was, why does it have to go around us? Why can't it just come right back, stay right in here and come right back through, and everybody have a 4-lane from Woodbury that way and a 4-lane that way and come right back into a 2-lane here?
Well, it says something Mark mentioned a while ago. Yeah, you put in a bypass and new businesses come in. Oftentimes, it's corporate stuff that comes in. We need to be protecting the old businesses.
Yeah, we have to. I've heard us get fussed at sometimes for trying to live in the past and living in the dark ages. A lot of people move here because we wave at everybody and we speak to everybody and we know everybody. And I'm not for my children or grandchildren being raised in Murfreesboro. I'd have them down there. I just seen it stay Woodbury.
For him to make the recommendation, you really ain't got 2 options. And your southern route is the first one because that's the only impact study that's been done. The second one is to do exactly like you're saying. Just leave it alone, let it go right through the middle. And if you want to leave it alone and let it go right through the middle, then just tell Mike that we want to leave it alone.
Yeah, he'll be glad to give them that.
Where would if you let it go through town, where would the 4-lane end from east side?
East side market.
That's where it'll stop at, right where at your house. It'll stop right there. It'll be done.
The plan that I saw, I'm just talking from when it came through our property down here at Readable, and they had all the plans, at that time. They planned to have from the east, at the top of the hill, where it's 3 lanes now, and where it's existing going in. The plan was to make that 5 lanes, have a turning lane in the center, and 2 on it. And they said at that time that they had enough right-of-way for 5 lanes instead of just 3 for right-of-way. And it would come on down the hill, in 5 lanes.
And then it would come back together at the bottom of the hill.
And then it would come to the bottom of the hill and then go across Hills Creek behind, on the other side of Smithson's house there.
Yeah, behind the school.
And then come on around behind the school. There was talk then about that. And I don't know, do y'all want to have another meeting with the groups that you talked about, Tony? And to talk about this more?
Could I throw out just a suggestion?
Okay.
You can get 2 meetings in a meeting, but why don't you get the city council and the county commission and the 2 planning commissions?
Okay.
Get the city planning, because it's going to affect the city more than it is the county.
Sure. Yes.
And get the city and county planning commissions together with the city council and the county commission. Actually,
that's a good idea, I think, but we need first, we're going to let the IDB board here have a little say-so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to speak to your concerns. As long as this courthouse is in the middle of Calhoun County, in the middle of Woodbury, Tennessee, you haven't got to worry about a thing about this county, quote, drying up. This courthouse is where people come downtown. You could put a road that way, south of here, west, east, doesn't matter. Here's your industry, and here's what's going to take. Am I right, Mike?
I agree with you,
yeah. So you could put a road anywhere. You're not going to jeopardize downtown. Now, I don't have any qualms one way or the other, personally. I've got some opinions I'll keep to myself. From the standpoint of an IDB and what would be the most benefit to the Industrial Development Board, I think we do have some input, and I think we need to be a part of whatever meeting comes together.
And And that's,
I like your suggestion of the JECDP. That's a committee, that's a board. If you're not familiar with that board, you need to get familiar with it. That's probably the best board in Cannon County, properly functioned. You got a lot of horsepower on that board. You got people from every bit of, first of all, you got the county mayor, city mayor of here, city mayor of Auburn Town, and the school superintendent. They comprise the executive board, is that right?
I think so.
Then you got members from the City Planning Commission, County Planning Commission. IDB is not part of that board. Mike and I have discussed this. Once he has a meeting with a quorum, then he's assured me that the IDB will be a part of it. I think that would be wonderful, because I do think the IDB needs to have some input on where a road goes.
Let me correct you there. You are a member of the
I
county
started to say,
commission
yeah.
when they did the.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
The committee.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was
you
not
are.
aware of that.
You are
You are a
now.
member of that.
Thank you. I'm glad I spoke up. Now I know what I'm talking about. But there's just a lot of things that could go on here. I think there needs to be a lot of input from a lot of people. I wasn't aware that we were supposed to come tonight prepared to give.
Well, I don't think you were. Now,
Okay, okay,
but
good.
at the last meeting, everyone that was here, and you were one of them, heard him say
Right, I
that
did
the
hear
commission needs to talk to this,
And I
make a
definitely-
recommendation to the RPO.
Right.
But we don't have to make it tonight. We don't have to make it tonight. We can table this until we talk more. And then we've had a good discussion
Let's get on
tonight.
it pretty quick, though. There's no need.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
We don't need to be sitting here in March, April,
No.
and still not done.
That's why I put it on the very next month's agenda. And when people saw it on the agenda, saying, they've been talking to Chuck, and that's exactly what they should have done. And some have been talking to me. Have any of y'all had anybody, you east side ones? Has anybody said?
Everybody who talks to me are scared to death that when it goes around, it'll just be nothing. And I don't know how to explain that, or how to make them feel better about what's going to happen.
Well, the Warren County Courthouse is still in the center of town, I believe.
Well, the reason they feel like
Rutherford
that's what's
County
going
is
to
too.
happen is because that's what they see happen at these other little towns.
You know, Mr. Chairman, you look at a town like Alexandria, it's not a county seat. And 70S, or 70, bypass Alexandria, and you go downtown Alexandria, there's nothing there. I'm not sure there's been anything there if you haven't gone around Alexandria. My point is, it did not affect Alexandria. Alexandria was not a county seat of that particular county.
The Highway 64 across the southern part of the state, all those counties, I know Pulaski, 64 used to go through it, and now it runs around. Have you been down, you go down there? It hadn't destroyed Pulaski, and it's not going to. It's just going to increase development, and that
Exactly.
it's going to spread out development. It won't be so crowded.
Well, there's a part of me that would like for them to build a bridge right up from the top of this hill to the top of Peaks Hill, and us not have to look at anybody.
Well, we
I have
want
that
we
part
want
of
the
me.
business, but we don't want to impede their wanting to go on to their job or their deliveries or whatever they're going to do.
Remember, one thing he did say, he said the state is not going to borrow any money to do
That's
it.
right.
He said if the state can't fund it, then it won't be done, and it won't be done until the state can fund it. And he said the less that it costs, the more likely. If it was maintain your road through town, then you would come and get it a whole lot quicker than you would.
That's for 4 lane.
Really, that's where Mike is coming from. All they're telling us, all I heard the other night was, get on the list.
Get on the list, that's
If
right.
you don't get on the
It
list,
may be 20
nothing
years,
is
but-
ever gonna happen.
He said it might be 20 years.
Yeah, he said it'd be
If you ask
15
for
years
4 lane,
anyway,
and
yeah.
somebody else asks for a 2, the 2 lane gets priority over
The 2 lane will get funded because they got enough money to
And if
do
you
We
that.
can sit here and do nothing, and have nothing, or we can at least act and tell them what we want.
That's right.
And
Mr. Chairman, we need
something.
to realize that we are commissioners for Cannon County and not for Warren County. We could care less how fast they get from Warren County to Rutherford County.
That's right, that's exactly right. I'll agree with you, Chuck.
Yeah, I'd rather them all stop, spend some money. You know.
But I'll tell you what, though, go down here at 5 o'clock and pull in the parking lot at First National Bank, and look how many cars stop coming through here. Just stop, just go over and look, you ain't getting time. Just stop and look at how many go to Hardee's, how many go to Wood, how many go to Sonic. It'll surprise you, it'll shock you, there's not that many.
Nope.
They go through when they go through. Now, in the morning time, I can't vouch for that, but in the
Stop at
afternoon.
Parsley's.
Yeah.
if you will go here and check with Corey Davenport over service station up here, he'll tell you that you're going to have approximately 30% of his business, 30 to 40% of his business is going to be Warren County.
That's what I said at the beginning. The two businesses that it'll hurt the worst are the co-op's convenience store and gas, and right across the road, Davenport's convenience store, gas. That's the two that it'll hurt the worst if you run around.
And where's our money come from to repair the roads with? Does it not come off the gas tax?
Now, somebody will put a.
Yeah, but that's not,
Well,
the
let's
gas
see.
is bought in your county though, that's
Right.
distributed all over
It's
the
distributed
state.
Evenly.
from the
So,
state.
It
You
doesn't
don't get it
matter.
straight up.
All right, what is
There'll be
the
five new gas
pleasure of this
stations going
board?
to
Do you wanna, let's call, do y'all want to recommend to call a bigger meeting sometime in January and get some of these other people's input?
I think we need to have the meeting Mike was talking about, plus the
Plus,
IDB.
all right, you make that motion.
I don't remember who all he said.
He said the county planning commission, the city planning commission, the city council, the county commission, and IDB board, and joint economic development. That's the ones he said.
Can you get all them together?
Well, I mean, we can send them letters. How many will show up, I don't know, but I'll be happy to do that.
Well, if it's something that's very much on the people's mind, they'll be here.
And let me say this, this is for a recommendation to me and Jack, to me and Alan and Harold, so we'll know where to put it.
That's right.
Tell them, just be sure you really talk with the city a lot and let them have a lot of say in this, because it's already out my way and it's already down Mark's way. It's 90% of this is gonna affect the
That's
city.
affect the city of Woodbury, that's right.
So we really need to listen to the
To
officials.
their elected officials, which is their two commissioners and their county, their city council.
Right.
That's the ones that it's gonna affect the
I mean,
most.
if y'all ask me to, I'll send a letter to all these groups and then.
Well, are you gonna make a
I
motion?
made that motion.
Okay,
I said,
all right.
Don't set a date, because.
We won't set a
we've got
date.
So many groups. I don't
We're
know.
gonna meet. The state transportation man seemed to think that we need to get our name on the list, so that's why I'm acting on it.
We got to.
I didn't wanna push y'all to hurry, but I wanna act on it because of his speech that he made about a little bit of urgency. All right, call the roll.
Who's second the motion?
Clint.
Clint did.
Clint? Okay, Mark Barker.
Yes.
Todd Oliver.
Yes.
Jim McNeil.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Jim Jones.
Yes.
Chuck Holt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right.
Send all of us one too.
Pass unanimously.
We'll miss it for
And
sure.
Mike,
That'd be awful.
this is instructing you to facilitate this meeting.
We're asking. We're not instructing, we're asking.
All right. Other business. I've got one thing for other business, and then I'll go on to anything that y'all have for other business. I've had a request from Barry and Anita Bush. They live on Lassiter Road. Most of you know that their daughter was tragically killed while she was in high school, taking some other children home a few years ago. And they would like to name the bridge across Brawley's Fork there on Lassiter Road, where they live right down the road from it. They'd like to name it in memory of their daughter, Kimberly Bush. I talked to Wayne out here in the hall beforehand, and of course Russell's not here tonight from our district, but can I make a motion? I think I can. I'll make a motion that we allow this bridge down here to be named in memory of Kimberly Bush.
Second.
Jim Jones seconded.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is there,
Mark Barker.
Wait just a minute. Hey, Jim's got a question to ask before we vote.
Okay.
you know, we've got in this before, is there anybody on that road has had any objections to that?
I don't think so, not that I know of at all. And we've
Because
never had a
Well, usually they'll bring a petition to us asking.
to change the name of a road, they
Change the
do,
name of
yeah.
a road
But this
or-
is just to put a sign memorializing this person as a,
So you say it's okay?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
It'll be the Kimberly Bush Memorial Bridge or whatever her middle name was.
Do we
too.
buy the sign, or does the highway department get the sign, or do they get the sign?
Highway department will have to, it's a state aid bridge, and they'll have to contact the state. Of course, the state never does this. They could possibly say, no, they could overrule you, but they don't do that.
Right.
they will provide the sign, right? And the highway department will put it up. We did that for Robert Benson and Margie, you know.
Yes,
recently.
just a few months ago.
Yeah.
One of these days, we're gonna run out of bridges.
Any other talk, any other discussion? Go ahead, Bobby, call a roll.
Mark Barker.
Yes?
Carl Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Jimmy Neighbors.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Evan George.
Yes.
Dan Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Jim Jones.
Yes.
Chuck Holt.
Yes.
All four.
Okay, Wayne,
Start naming cupboards, we'll
Wayne,
never
you
run
get
out.
the,
There you go.
get the ball rolling on that. Any other business from anybody that's on the
Yes.
commission? Okay?
What about the ball fields?
I have a Orlando, Georgian, I believe it's who John Barker recommended, and I've got him scheduled to come and check all the light poles and tell you the ones that sound, the ones that aren't. But I couldn't give you that, so it may be close first year before he can come.
All the light poles that are down there do not all belong to the county.
Some of them are Middle Tennessee Electric, and they'll have a tag on them. Chuck, I think's looked at them now. To tell you how many I need replacing, I won't know till he comes. Once he tells me you've got this many that's got to be replaced, then I'm gonna ask Middle Tennessee Electric for a list of their subcontractors, who they get, and then we'll let them bid on it.
All right. Miss Hilda, you're not bringing us bad news, are you?
No.
Good.
I thought it didn't start till 6.
They voted down your.
Don't listen to him. And we need to make sure that everybody knows that we're starting at 5 now. Okay. You got any more other business?
Mark, I hope to have the commissioners a list of how many that's got to be replaced before by the January meeting. I hope to, and how much per pole it'll cost to replace. And I am going to ask the director of schools to let us check the football field. I don't think there's, 4 or 5. There's not many over there, but.
While we're checking, while we got contractors, yeah. That's a good idea.
We need to know the complete price of the lighting and wiring and.
Well, I mean, the wiring and lighting's there. I assume they use the same wiring and lighting.
No,
Why-
the wiring, it's,
Well, can that guy look at that too? Or will Mark and him have to look at it?
Electric will look at that.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of any problem with the lighting or wiring.
yes.
Well, it's most likely as old as the poles.
We'll check into that.
Okay. Anything else, Jim? Jimmy Manning?
Good.
Anybody else on the commission got any other business?
Yeah, I got one thing, Mark.
Go ahead.
I want to add Mike to the Homeland Security Committee. We overlooked that when we named our committee. He's already on it, but he's just not listed for being on it.
Okay. Can we do
So I'd
that by
like him
common
to be-
consent?
Him to be listening. I also asked
You gonna be
Harold
at the
Patrick
meetings?
about it, and Harold wasn't interested in it, so.
You gonna be at the meetings?
Tony, I don't have any.
All right, let's let our audience, anybody in the audience have anything to bring before the county commission?
You want to add Mike Gannon on it?
Yeah, Homeland
Michael?
Security,
All right,
yeah.
just a minute. Anybody else? All right, go ahead, Michael.
I just got one thing I thought I'd let y'all know, in light of the fire on the square, I was contacted a couple of weeks ago, wanted to know if we'd be interested in a ladder truck. And, this past week, we took possession of a 1975 ladder truck that was refurbished in 1991. We've got some things we've got to do to it before we can get it in service. We got to have the ladder tested and everything. But, we got it out to fire hall, give us about a couple of months, but it will be a good aid to whatever happens here in the city or happens outside the county also. It's a 100-foot truck, 100-foot ladder, pre-plumbed already up to 30 feet on the end of the ladder. So we can add sections as we go to get it higher up with the water. But that was in light of Monster Broadband out of Tullahoma donated that to us.
They donated. That's good.
So
That's what we like, them donations.
Did you get that?
Sam's wants to pay for it. Their budget's gonna
Make sure he
pay
gets
for
that
it.
company name right when he puts it.
Monster Broadband.
Monster Broadband.
Michael Jordan.
This previous year.
Yeah, we've got 2 students from Freddie Curtis's government class with us tonight, and I just wanted to acknowledge them.
I appreciate y'all being interested in civics and government, and I hope we've conducted ourselves in a worthy manner tonight.
I think we have.
I think
I don't remember.
We've done better than we have in the past.
Yeah, okay, I don't remember.
Mark, before we,
Go ahead.
before we adjourn, I've got our minutes here from the February meeting.
Yes.
That was discussing about the ambulance a while ago. Yeah, November, or February, no,
This is
February.
February.
This is February's meeting. And the motion passed to apply for the 300,000 grant for the ambulance service. And at the same time, it was also voted on to pay the balance over 10 years. Anything goes over $300,000, balance to be paid over 10 years from the ambulance budget. That was in February.
That's what it says.
That's what we balance to
voted on.
paid over 10 years from the ambulance budget.
I didn't realize we set for years after that.
Yeah, in February.
Out of the ambulance budget.
Michael had one more
I
thing.
do have one other thing. I gave Jim a paper. When we started these fire departments back in, when we started in 1978, the rest of them started in
That's
1992. They
that
started
we get
getting
in our
buildings
packet, I mean, our
built. Went
minutes,
in service in
like you had
94.
this time.
Is that right, Mike? The communities built the buildings as county buildings and gave them to the county. And over the years, we've always been told we took care of the buildings, but I mean, we're trying to keep our equipment up, and we're trying to keep things that we don't get enough money for to keep going. And now we've got some that have had issues with roofs and things like that, and we're asking the commission, can we get any help with these buildings, because they are county buildings. We don't have the money to keep them up like we need to, and we can let them run down. We don't have, we just don't have the funding there off our fundraisers to take care of all of it. Midway just spent, you've got it in your hand, over $2,000 putting the roof on their building, which I thought was an excellent cost or excellent price to get a whole metal roof on that whole building, trimmed and all. But they've had to do extra fundraisers to try to get the money up to put a roof on the building it was already leaking into the bays and had some damage. Is there any way, does the county take care of these buildings, or are they all on us? I guess is what we need to know.
Can we reimburse that out of the county, out of the building maintenance fund?
I would think that since the county owns the buildings, that they should be responsible for the maintenance of it.
I would think so.
Of the roof,
I would think so.
That's what I would think.
I think that.
If you want to fix the roof before it damages the wood.
For that.
Well, we have a maintenance fund, a building maintenance fund.
We got a county building.
We really got a line item. I don't know if we got enough money in it.
That's what I'm saying, we're gonna have to add.
I don't, but
That would be a capital project too, that you could take out of debt service.
we could.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael and them, they've got a lot of people, so they can fundraise. Even when they have trouble fundraising, they have enough to operate on. Midway's just got a few members, and that wiped them out. I guarantee it, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
That cleaned their clock.
It helped them. It hurt them pretty good. Try to take that
Out of theirs, because it's not like they ain't got 50,000 laying there, or 20,000, even 5,000. They had to make up extra money to come up to $2,000.
And that's an excellent price for a roof.
Yeah. We might.
What's the metal gave them an extra deal on that roof?
Yeah, the guy did the work.
We might need to see if he wants to do some more.
Yeah, at that price.
That
Do
price.
you have a motion to reimburse them for that or anything like
Well,
that?
I don't have. I don't know where we're at on our money, but I would want to make sure that we need to let Diane look and make sure we've got enough money.
Okay, you gonna put that, Jim, you gonna put that on next month's agenda?
Yeah.
Discussion,
Because you need to make sure that she's got enough, that we got enough in that line.
discussion about, we need to set a policy as what we're gonna do.
Because it wasn't on the agenda. Right.
It's got to be in there before we
That's
vote
what I
on it.
say, next month, we don't set a policy on what we're gonna do
Well,
about.
No, you're wanting to see if it's there, how much money's in that building, county building maintenance is what you're wanting to see
Yeah.
first.
Because I think if we've got the money there, we need to reimburse them for that. And then we need to set a policy on how we're going to handle this from now on.
Because the other ones,
Hey, Mark, I got a front door that's, you can just push on this brake, I'm going to replace it, it's going to be,
They've been there a long time,
that's right.
Sir.
Mr. Chairman, I may have missed it. How many square feet is in that building?
Which,
They've got a 40 by, well, they got 4 lanes across the front, 40 deep. It's, close to 40 by 100. It's at least 40 deep.
It's $8,000 roof for $2,000.
With and it's got, they started out in the original building, and they added a kind of a lean-to slope on the side, so once it gets off the regular A-frame, then it come on down.
The west side did the same thing.
For the double
We did the same thing. Community down the west side put an extra bay on.
Oh, you got it, Tony's got everything.
Yes, sir.
We started out with
County buildings.
2 bays, between 2 and 2 or 3 years ago.
Was that for insurance? But that's for insurance.
I need
Is that for insurance?
5180.
I know.
And my thing is, I mean, I've got a building, this is our 35th year in that building. But I'm fixing to have a building over there.
What is it?
40 by 60, just to house the trucks I've got. I've got 2 trucks sitting outside.
Where's that, Tom?
3 trucks
What number is
sitting
it?
outside now.
51, 58?
But I'm once we do
51,800.
this building at $20,000, we're not gonna have the money.
That budget
to
ain't
keep
put
maintenance
together
on a
right,
building.
it's all
That's
bouncing
that's
around.
something
Yeah, they're out of line.
I understand. That's why we're gonna discuss it next month about how to fund this and what to do. Y'all still reading?
Now, we got $30,000 in our building maintenance fund, is what we budgeted. It's
Is that for-
$30,000.
Is that maintenance or is that for the insurance?
That's just buildings.
Okay.
It says maintenance and repair services, buildings.
There you go.
And then we got one for equipment and we got one for vehicles, but the buildings is $30,000. Year before last, we spent $39,400, and last year we spent $31,700, and we
That's
budgeted for
always
$30,000.
gonna be,
Right, but I guess my thing was I want
that's the line it ought to come out of.
that it ought to come out of that line, and then we need to decide how we're going to handle it from now on, because it's not going to be the last time this happens.
Okay.
The buildings are getting a little older.
We'll discuss that next month more, and y'all be thinking about what you want to do about it.
Make sure that
You're gonna have Diane's figures on how much we got.
have actually got in there, so we don't mess around and do something.
The next
Take
meeting
away,
will be on Saturday, remember.
Thank you, Tony.
And again, I'll ask, we've had some people come in since I called, any citizens want to make
Trying
a
to make me late for that ball game. Man.
comment? Okay. Where are they? In the
I'm
paper.
gonna make NCIS, I don't really care.
It wasn't this week. It wasn't posted.
Oh, it wasn't in the paper?
Chuck said it was last week.
It was last week, okay.
The agenda or the public notice?
The agenda.
Public notice, the agenda is not
The agenda is not posted. Very well, we can get one posted or
We can. I thought they posted the agenda. They didn't post it?
posted.
I just looked at mine.
You're not required to publish an agenda.
No, we're
They're
not.
required for us to have it there.
You're required to publish it, put a public notice out. but
Okay.
not publish it.
Do you commissioners think that the money we're spending just for the public notices is enough? And giving us the agendas?
How much more will it cost?
I don't know.
Find out. I think it.
I don't think it'd be that
Well, I
much
mean,
more, that
If you're
agenda
a
to it, too.
taxpayer or citizen out there and you look in the paper and you see there's a meeting, you might come, you might not, but if you
Well,
saw
there-
something on the agenda, you thought, well, I kind of
Just like this road that they all deal with the road.
Yeah, it makes us look a little,
Okay.
makes us look a little more open.
Transparent.
It has been.
Transparent, that's
It
what
has
it has
done
been
in the past.
I just wondered if it was, I wasn't trying to start it.
Okay, we'll see about that. Anything else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. We got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, let us on. Aye.
Aye.
Y'all got me talking, I can see y'all.
To adjourn, always in order.
You can always make a second.
That's no trouble.
Every time.